This Racing Life with Albasti Equiworld, the leading supplier of horse feeds and supplements.
Welcome to the latest edition of This Racing Life. We're here in Lambourn, the valley of the racehorse, to visit a spectrum of trainers. From a rookie handler just starting out, to a pre-trainer with plenty of yearlings, and a man who loves nothing more than destination Dubai. Here's what's coming up on this week's show.
I've been around horses all my life, and obviously since I was probably 2 I've been with horses, so I can't see myself, I could never. I was always probably going to end up doing this, although I didn't realise it.
Literally lying across her. She had this done yesterday, so he's going to get on her now. Good. She's taking it all pretty well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. On down.
Having, in the past dreaded this time of year, thinking, God, we've got to get through whole long boring winter. Now, yeah, it's there's an element of excitement about it because of the team that are out there.
It's been 7 months since Nick Scholfield had his last ride as a professional jockey in the Grand National back in April. And what a career he's had. Grade 1s aplenty. Since then, he's become the newest recruit to the training ranks here in Lambourn, and we've come to find out a little bit more.
Obviously being in Lambourn for the first time, living here has been different, but we've only been here 4 months, and I'm enjoying it, and yeah, it's a different way of life, and it is a way of life. It's sort of wake up every morning 5 o'clock and finish at 9 o'clock at night, but no, I'm enjoying it. I can't see myself doing anything else.
And it's amazing to think that it was only back in April that you were last riding as a professional jockey, so the whole process has been really speedy.
Yeah, it's been, I hadn't even, this time last year, I think I was riding at Haydock at this time, and then hadn't even done any of my trainers courses, and although we had horses in, it's amazing like how quick a year goes and how much can be done in that time, and how quickly we've grown in a short amount of time, but we're trying to just, we're not saying no to anyone, but at the same time keep it within an in-house and not be too big too quick.
Would you say that she's your, I know it's early days, but
yeah,
at the moment your pride and joy?
I try not to get too attached, but I do ride her out every day myself. Answer to your question, probably yes.
Yeah.
I know you shouldn't have, but she's lovely to do, and from jumping to everything, like you can see,
She's inquisitive, isn't she?
She's gorgeous.
Did she surprise you with the way that she ran?
No, she'd obviously, yeah. And if you were in a battle, and you needed one of your horses to run well, I think she's touched with quite reliable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, she's very good.
Becoming a trainer so early on, after finishing riding, would be a daunting proposition. At least it would be for many. But because you were doing a bit of pre-training before, has that helped you sort of make your way into the training itself?
Yeah, I think so, because I've been around horses all my life, and obviously since I was probably 2 I've been with horses, so I can't see myself, I could never, I was always probably going to end up doing this, although I didn't realise it, but I think you ask the majority of jockeys, you don't actually look past what you're doing there, because you're within that, you're quite young, and you just want to be a jockey and do the best, and it wasn't until recently that you probably realise you're getting a bit old and cranky, that you probably can't do this forever, and yeah, got lucky enough to given the opportunity to just pre-train a few, and then it's grew from there really. Because
lots of jockeys, when they finish their riding career, some go into broadcasting, some go into bloodstock. There are different routes that you can take, but you've gone down arguably the hardest. But I guess, is that because you really wanted to do it ultimately after pre-training? Yeah, I like every day's different. I like trying to work out horses when they haven't run so well. What can we do to change it? And it keeps my mind occupied, and keeps, I'm enjoying it. And I enjoy working with the owners. They've been very supportive, and it's rewarding when it goes right. I think in our first week we had a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and
it's enjoyable. And then we had sort of some not run so well, and then you work out, should we persevere, what can we change? And every race, there's, I don't think from the outside public looking in, you ask any trainer how much has to go into it before the race, and even more so after the race. You don't just put the horse back and forget about it. You try and work out a plan and ultimately change something if it's not working.
So you've got fond memories of the horse in front.
Yeah, he's one of the favourites. He's a bit older now. Hannah's riding him, she rides him most days, and he was my last winner as a jump jockey. I didn't know it at the time, so I still had the Grand National to ride him, but so yeah, he was the very last one, and yeah, I watch it back actually now, because it's fond memories. And,
absolutely. And that's Hot Rod Lincoln.
Yeah. He hasn't run since that day, but he'll be running around Christmas time. And, but he's a star of a horse and loves the mud.
It's quite fun now that you train him, having ridden him when he was last seen.
Yeah, he's a funny horse, but we love him to bits, and yeah, he's got a home here for life anyway.
That's tremendous. Let's reflect a little bit on your riding career, because it was very fruitful, plenty of Grade 1 success. If you had one highlight to look back on, what do you think it would be?
I had many good days, and it's very hard to single out, because any of the Grade 1 and Cheltenham Festival wins, you wouldn't want to give them back. So, but I suppose the one that probably meant the most, and I was a bit older, so probably could appreciate, was Sky Pirate for John Joe Neal and Martin Tedham. I'd been off for 4 or 5 months with a serious ankle injury, and I hadn't had many rides or results when I come back, and he went and won the Grand Annual COVID year, and that was, it was, although there was no crowd there, it meant more than anything, and yeah, look back on that day with fond memories.
And I guess when you're starting out, like you have been the last few weeks, is it daunting for you? I mean, you're coming into a training world you've not really had too much experience of. So with those trainers that you've worked for in the past, the likes of Nichols and Jeremy Scott, etc., has that really helped you start out on this path?
Yeah, I actually stood in the paddock at Newbury with our first run as St Irene, and I was looking around, and there's like, I think top 10 trainers, and I was thinking, geez, this is probably not a great starting place. There should be but when she comes second, to be able to compete at that level with your first runner seems a bit surreal, really. So, I guess I did learn something from each of them, and I'm not, I'd be silly not to copy any of them, because they're all very successful, and of course I do copy them, but you try and put your own stamp on it, and everyone here seems to know our routine and what we like and what we don't like, and don't get me wrong, we're tweaking all the time, because if something's not working, every horse is different, and like the bigger ones are taking more work, because obviously we've only been on the gallop sort of 3 months. We're working them out, what horse needs more work and what's fit, and what's, we're learning quickly. But thanks to the owners, I just tried to be open and honest, and we've not got expensive horses. I think our most expensive horse we bought was 20-something thousand. So we're not in the big league yet, but we've been sent some nice ones, and I'm very appreciative of that. And hopefully, a few of the younger ones can turn out nice. Here's Alan.
One of the great names of a horse.
He's actually really cool. He's out next up. I was on TalkSport yesterday morning.
Were you actually?
Yeah, Alan Brazil.
Oh, tremendous.
I think they watched his race because.
Is that why they got you on?
Yeah. He was 100 to 1, and they were saying he's a rag.
He'll win races on that evidence, though.
Yeah, I think the winner was smart, and it had a run under his belt. They had more experience around him, and he beat some winners. So,
yeah.
And he's good. He's not just a novelty act. Hopefully,
it's not Alan who owns it, is it?
No. You can own him if you want. But he's actually, he comes third in his point. It was just only his second run on the track. He's still he jumped a bit big. He was jumping them like fences, but he actually hit the line strong, and he ran through the line. And Harry said when he pulled up that the penny, the further he goes, the better he goes. So
that's what you wanted.
Yeah, he'll probably stay hurdling this year, and then he will be a lovely stay-in novice chaser next year.
And what would you like to achieve in the game, do you think? You're obviously a young trainer. I imagine winners, first of all, would be at the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, definitely. And just do the best by your owners and the horses. Obviously, dreaming big. If I could have a Grade 1 winner or a Cheltenham Festival winner, that would be the pinnacle, but I'm fully aware that it's a long way off yet, and probably have to wait 10 plus years to get to that. But that's what, I would love to get to that level, but that's a very high level and we're nowhere near that yet. So, but if I had to have an ultimate aim, that would to have a Grade 1 horses.
On This Racing Life, we're used to seeing horses already proven and in training. But where does it all begin? Where are the foundations made? Well, superstars like Bradsell were educated here at Mark Grant Racing. While he broke out at York, horses here in the Lambourn countryside are broken in.
So he's a pointer in front, and he worked in school yesterday, so he's having an easy day. And then a Stradivarius yearling second, he's going to Eve Johnson Houghton. And a Rajah Singh in third, colt, and a Sergei Prokofiev last. So
I've been quite impressed with Rajah Singh. He's not really been that well used, has he, so far? But
he hasn't.
He's had a really good year this year.
Well, he had 2 big sprint winners,
Yeah,
didn't
2 tribes and Run.
he? The Stewards Cup and the Air
Run
Gold
Boy
Cup.
Run, yeah.
Both for Richard Spencer.
That's it,
Yeah.
But he's very loyal to the stallion, obviously, because of
Yeah.
the owner.
This Rajah Singh here, he's a lovely horse.
That's the third one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
he's gone to Richard Hughes. He's got a real good way about him. He looks like a real early 2-year-old.
How important do you think this kind of thing is for their development?
But I think it's great for horses to go around in a circle where they can canter and just
Yeah.
learn to relax, you know what I mean? Not that they're not just going straight up in one line and pulling up after 4 furlongs. So you can get them into a rhythm here and they get balanced. These 3 colts are probably riding 2 weeks. So they would have been out the road and up. So we're lucky we've got tracks and woods that we can go up here. And they'd go up there, they'd spend about a week having a trot and a hack up there.
And that's another part of the learning process.
Yeah. And then they're in here then, and as I said, they're probably in cantering 2 weeks, I'd say. And they're probably ready to go home now. Back to their. So we would have had them since the sales.
Yeah.
Since Newmarket.
And then you canter them for about 2 weeks.
Canter them for about 2 weeks or 3, and just see when we're happy with them. You know.
Yeah.
They'll say, "What have you got ready for us to come back?" And we will, whenever I'm happy that they're good rides.
Reach that sort of level.
Yeah, we send them back there. Yeah.
Bradsell was here, so
Yeah.
you've got history for it.
Yeah. No, we were lucky to have him early on in our career. I think he's covered 100 mares this year, they told me. So.
Wow, that's a good start. I suppose as well, it was a disappointing element to the fact that he had those problems with his knees, because if he didn't, you might well have sold him for a lot more.
Yeah, well, we got 48,000 from him, I think, but he didn't X very well. And but then 3 weeks later, he went and won his maiden at York by 9 lengths, I think, and was sold after that again. So, and went on again to win the Coventry that year. Yeah.
When he won at York, did you just almost want to cry?
Well, I was delighted he won because it was great. He came from here.
Sure.
But obviously, when I heard that he was sold for a lot more money than
It's
we
hard
sold
to
him for. But look, he was great for our career here. So.
Do you feel any pressure from the trainers, the fact that they've imparted their trust in you to get them prepared properly?
Oh yeah, not pressure, but just you want to do it right.
Yeah.
Just make sure they go back. And
Because if you don't, I suppose you won't get any
they
more.
won't come back next year.
Yeah,
So you have to do them right. But I'm lucky we've got good riders, very good riders. So they'll just go for a wander down the road now for a cool off. But that's all we do with the yearlings at this stage. This is a 2 darn hot filly that arrived to us to break. She's going to breeze. She sent us by a client, and so she had tack on when she arrived to us. So we're just continuing on now, and she's about to be ridden today.
Okay.
We lay across her yesterday in the stable, so today's going to be our first day that we get on her.
And is that towards the end of the breaking in process?
Yeah, well, obviously we'll ride her today, and she'll spend a week or 10 days trotting up the tracks in the woods, and then before we get onto her own gallop.
What are the signs that she gives you that she's ready to be ridden then?
She just takes it so well. She hasn't turned a hair really. When we put the tack on her, as I said, she had it on before. But
So it's kind of all about her temperament.
temperament, yeah, and you can just see that she's got a good kind eye, and she's there's plenty of them that come in here, and when you put the tack on them for the first time, they take off, and they could give 10 minutes bucking. And then you teach teach them to turn left and right now, the guys, that's what they're doing here.
Oh, I see, okay.
And then they teach them to stop and pull her up there now.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's almost like teaching a baby to walk in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. We've got to give them a mouth to ride them, you know. You can't, if they can't turn left or right or stop, it's very difficult for somebody to ride them. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Come on, Adam. Good. Come on, here we go. Good girl. Good. Come on, Baba. Good. That's it.
So it's literally lying across.
Literally lying across her. She had this done yesterday, so he's going to get on her now. Good. She's taking it all pretty well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Come on, Darren. Come on, Darren. That's it.
Oh, she's doing great, isn't she?
Yeah, she's pretty good. She looked like she was going to be good.
Yeah.
Ooh, Baba. Ooh. Famous last words. Good. Good. There we go. There we go. Good girl. Come on. That's it. Good. Good. Take her out. Well, we're going to go back down the road with her.
Fair play. That is not something I'd be leaping to do, I have to say.
Good. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Good, all right?
So we've just seen one of your fillies being broken in. I find the whole process fascinating, I have to say. From start to finish, it's all about the education, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. And as I said, we don't want to. We like to finish on a good note. So you might have thought we didn't do a lot with her today, but I like to, when things are going well, leave it at that. You know, rather than keep going, and then something goes wrong. You know, she's had a good experience today, and we've just left her on a good note. But she was very straightforward anyway.
A large part of your business is selling breezes and getting them prepared for that. So what goes into that kind of process? Obviously, it's a bit different.
Yeah, so we try and go to every sale, buy 8 or 10, 12 yearlings to breeze.
Is there a certain type of horse that you look out for?
You try and look for the early 2-year-old. It's sharp early 2-year-old, and the stallion I think counts for a lot nowadays. There's 6, 7, 8 stallions that people want. So I think if you try and, for a safe bet, you try and buy some of those stallions, you know. But then we bring them back here when we buy them, and basically the same process, breaking them. And I like to break mine and give them a break. Then they have 2 or 3 weeks or a month off, depending on if I think they need it. And yeah, they'll just hack away until Christmas.
And then it really starts.
Really starts then. So they'll start maybe going up sides in January, just cantering away, and then come February, then we might just start to go a bit quicker.
Because of course, when you see them at the breeze ups, they're going hell for leather. So from breaking into that point, there's a big change.
There is. But as I said, we don't like to do too much of that too early, because they're still growing and they've got knee issues and lamenesses, and so you want to try and keep everything as sound and in one piece as you can, obviously.
Yeah. And from your point of view, I suppose, to make a business model, to have a lucrative business, you want to go to the breeze ups with horses that stand out.
You do, and you want to go and sell nice horses, and you want to go and sell horses with good minds that they don't look like they're fried or galloped too hard, you know. So you've got to try. It's a happy medium. You know, you need to teach them to gallop, but you want to keep a lid on it as well.
As sure as every year the leaves fall from the trees, so you can be certain that Jamie Osborne is going to have a strong hand of runners out in Dubai. Last season, it was Heart of Honour who was his absolute stable star, and this year he will be his flagship once again, amongst a whole host of burgeoning stars headed out to the Middle East. We've come to his home in Old Malthouse to find out a little bit more.
Yeah, I used to dread this time of year. I'm not great in the winters. The worst thing about being a jump jockey was that it happened in the winter. And I think when I stopped doing that, I realised that actually short days were not for me.
You like the sun on your back?
I do.
Yeah.
I like the daylight. So having, in the past dreaded this time of year, thinking, God, we've got to get through a whole long, boring winter. Now, yeah, it's there's an element of excitement about it because of the team that are out there. So I can commute. I'll be pretty much commuting all winter. Maybe spend a little more time out there this year than I have in the past because our squad is bigger and we will almost certainly have runners every week in Dubai.
It's quite good in a way because you sort of fashioned a niche sort of outlet for yourself at this time of year, haven't you?
Designed by me, for me. No, well, look, thankfully I'm not the only person that enjoys it out there and wants to be involved in the racing. Thankfully clients do as well. And I think once people have tasted it, they want more of it. Initially, years ago, I was trying to persuade people to take their horse out there. They hadn't been and they didn't really understand it and they didn't realise quite how good it was and how much fun it is. But now we're always looking for horses to go and do it because I've got an abundance of clients that would like to do it. But there's no point doing it with the wrong horse. Everybody likes the idea of going out there and thinking, let's have a runner. But runners are actually no fun if they're not going to be competitive. And finding horses to be competitive out there is just not as easy as it sounds. So he's going to Dubai off 94. So he'll start on the 12th of December in a 0 to 95. He's been as high as 108 out there. So yeah, it's unlikely he's improving at his age. But I don't think he's deteriorated as much as the mark would suggest. So I hope should be competitive. This time last year with Heart of Honour, we knew he was a nice horse, but it was all going to be down to how he took to the dirt. Was he hard enough? And he proved he was. So he's out there now. He's preparing for his first run on the 21st of November. And we've a fairly ambitious plan A for him. If that proves to be above him, we've got a plan B.
What is plan A?
Plan A is a conditions race, then into the Entizar, which is a listed race over 9.5 furlongs, then the Group 1 Al Maktoum Challenge, then the Saudi Cup, then the World Cup.
That's an ambitious plan, eh?
That's Route 1.
Do you think he could be up to that level?
I don't know. I think, look, to win a Saudi Cup against Forever Young and those horses, no. He's going to have to step up enormously to challenge them. Could he win an Entizar? Could he be competitive in an Al Maktoum Challenge? Yeah, I think he could. He's a gelding now. He's obviously never run as a gelding. I'm pretty sure that will have improved him.
Mm-hmm. Was he the type that sort of could have done with that at some stage last season?
Well, he had the most the most enormous pair you've ever seen on a horse. It must have been weighing him down. He was always slightly fruity. He's always slightly on edge, so it'll be interesting to see how he is race day. Sorry about the bird.
It's okay.
It'll be interesting to see how he is, how different he is. Is he going to be more relaxed and more focused? Because we were always slightly on edge with him. He's changed shape. He's grown again, and he's just not quite as bulky as you'd expect with a gelding, a bit more angular looking. He's never been a brilliant workhorse until he gets onto the dirt. His stride length increases, his fluency increases, and he goes a lot faster when he gets on dirt than any other surface. So yeah,
which is what you want, I suppose. Yeah.
Which is why he'll probably never run here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how we get on in the winter. It's not impossible. We could have a little mini American campaign with him middle of the summer. He doesn't necessarily have to go out there and run in Grade 1s. There'd be good targets for him just off the top.
So he's one of the highlights of the team. What about the rest of the squad that you've got?
So there's 6 out there at the moment that went early, 4 2-year-old dirt horses. His brother is out there, his half-brother by Zeus Star, who is a beautiful horse, great moving horse, big, bit raw, but he's by Zeus Star. He looks like a dirt horse, he moves like a dirt horse, he works like a dirt horse, but is he a dirt horse? We'll find out. The other 2 2-year-old colts that are out there are sort of more guaranteed to be all right on the surface. Constitution and Union Rags. So I've got no concerns with them on the surface, but Brotherly Love, as he's called, which is such a cool name, out of Ruby Love. He's probably not quite as mature as his brother was at the same time. He'll need to do a bit of maturing out there, but he works to a decent level. You come normal, Isaac. Yeah. She moving all right, Ash? She can just come a bit stronger. I'll send James in front of you. He moving all right? Yeah. We're going to work him tomorrow, just coming normal. Do or do not, who will run in a maiden on the 12th of December as well.
Who you've not had for that long?
No, we bought him from Ed Walker after his disappointing run at Doncaster. Obviously, he's probably the highest rated maiden in the country. So as long as I don't deteriorate him too much, you'd hope he'd take a fair bit of whacking in that. I hope Charlie Appleby doesn't turn up with some rocket. There's an obvious route for him through a conditions race on the 2nd of January, into a Guineas trial at the end of January, and then the 28th of February would be the Jumeirah Guineas.
Do or Do Not was a recent purchase, as was White Birch, so I really want to talk about him. What was the feeling like when he was going through the ring and you went up to 300 grand?
I have to confess, I was a bit shaky, because at that moment in time I didn't have a guaranteed client for him. I'd come up with the idea sort of some time before, and there was one person in particular that I thought might buy into the idea. So I'd been working on him for a while. On the morning of the sale, I wasn't getting an answer. And then there was a bit of radio silence during the afternoon. You know, I'd kind of, in my mind, had a plan, and I felt that he was potentially going to be buyable. I didn't know. I wasn't sure whether Australia were going to come in and give $500,000 for him. I certainly didn't see Willie Mullins coming. So when he went through the ring, I have to confess, he was on spec. Thankfully, the person I'd been working on came good after the event.
After the event, which made you sweat?
After the event, I think they might have actually just done it for their own amusement, to see whether or not I believed enough in the project that I was willing to put my own money on the line. So I think when I did that, and I'll tell you, it was Ian Barrett Racing, who is a good friend of mine. He's been a great supporter over the years, used to be the Melbourne 10. And I have a suspicion, even though he hasn't confessed this yet, that he was testing me.
Did you tell him that he made you sweat a little bit?
No, I wouldn't give him that satisfaction. No. So I got a phone call. I actually got a message from his wife a few hours after he'd been through the ring to say that they would like to own him, which is great. So he would very much like to have a winner at Royal Ascot. It's their dream, everybody's dream, but specifically that's what Ian and Claire would like. So it's going to be all eggs into that basket. You feel all right, Isaac? Just do the same as Uzo then. Slightly faster. There'll be another batch going out in December. They're yet to be totally finalised. The Fingal Raven, who is a very talented, disappointing horse, if he's pleasing me at the time, he could go back out. He was second in the Jumeirah Guineas to Ruland Court last year.
He looked so good.
And I thought he was going to have a really good season. I thought he'd be competitive in a Britannia, and he wasn't. You know, so he's had a break, and if he's working okay, he could go out. And we've still got a couple of dirt options here that weren't just forward enough to send on the first wave of horses, but they're in full work now. And if we could get a run into one or two of them here and they were shaping up, it's not impossible we could add them to the squad. Because you've got to remember, you know, the UAE Oaks and the UAE Derby is quite a long way away. You know, we've got horses for time for horses to change between now and then. That, okay, we've got the squad out there, the horses that were ready to go and we knew could take the regime. We've still got some in the wings here that I felt weren't quite ready to go, but they might be ready to go come December.
And so we come to the end of another episode of This Racing Life, and I, for one, have learnt plenty this week. Thanks to all those who have opened their doors to us. Until next time, it's goodbye.
this racing life with Albasti Equiworld, the leading supplier of horse feeds and supplements.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.